This is Rap the News. And it's a reason why Jesus only hung out with the 12. And that Israel was just a small community, a small nation, wasn't that big. It's a reason why. So that we all know each other. And that these outsiders don't come in and influence us. God knew what he was doing. And so basically, when I did that video yesterday, and the problem is that no man might buy, sell, or trade except that he had the mark of the beast. Now they got a problem because they don't want you to get anything. They want to block you. They don't want the people to do what's right. They don't want you to be taken care of as God commanded and said it was your inherent right as a priest. They don't want you to get nothing. They want to say, they want to make the people believe that all of a sudden your doctrine is false. All of a sudden you're leading the people astray, and then as I always do, I'm going to come back and fight them. I'm not going to let them get away with nothing. Of course, I'm not going to comment to 50 comments or 100 comments in the comment section because they want to overwhelm the saints. We already know what they do, because they are the majority. So here you got Judah king, more like Judist, saying, please don't give out of emotion. Did anybody ever say give out of emotion during a video whatsoever? No, this dude's the devil. We are poor black people. Who said everybody listening to the show is poor black people? Does he know that? Conjecture, huh? Assuming. I am disabled. I bet he ain't. Do you think Christ, with a capital C, capital U, putting emphasis on you as the God, would take money from a disabled poor man like me? Why didn't he say God? Why did he mention Christ? You already know he astray, huh? No. Wake up, because the Christ you worshiping ain't nothing but an image, an idol. Wake up, this man is evil. Oh, I'm reading the Doctrine of God, and this guy, this demon right here is saying I'm evil. And then 1:9. I live off a fixed income. I don't pay tithes because I am poor. Tell that to God when you burning in hell. Tell him you don't obey him because you poor. You curse. That's what you are. Because God said if you bless, your cup runneth over. You always got something to give. If you blessed, the reason why you ain't got nothing to give is because you damned. The reason why you disobeying God and his commandments is because you damned. Watch. Cain didn't have money. Abel didn't have money. Right? They was dealing in a money system back then? No. What'd they give? The first fruits of their increase, like God said. That's all God asked you to give. The first fruits of your increase. Can you make a necklace or something and go sell it? Even if you got 5 cents, can you give a penny? You know what I mean? It ain't hard to obey God when you want to. It's hard to obey a God when you're a stubborn jackass. Exodus 30:15. God said, that's what they hate. God said it. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less. Meaning the poor is given disabled less than a half a shekel. And the poor shall not give less, and the poor shall not give less when they give an offering. And who they giving that offering to? We have to do things in the order that God said. They give it to the priest. And what did the priest do? They used it to take care of their needs, number one. And they also distribute it to the poor in the community so that the money and the wealth just don't make a mere circuit among the rich. But you can't tell these conjecture artists nothing. Then you got Casey Moody. Note that we don't know these people. That's why Christ hung around the 12. At least he knew them. Now when an outsider come in, you're going to be hesitant to hear anything that outsider say, because he not one of your brethren. As somebody that ain't in the land, that's why they say son of this and son of that and son of this and daughter of this person, so that we all know who we came from. But if you get an outsider named Jack Nicholas, you know he don't belong. You know, are you calling the camp leaders priests? No, God is. 1 Peter 2:9. But you are a chosen generation, people. You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. So we all priests, but the order was, if someone from the tribe of Levi take up the priesthood, and he's out there preaching in the congregation every day, and you're listening to him, then you pay a tenth of your increase. That's all. God didn't ask you to give the whole farm and the ranch away. He said a tenth when he increased you. Again, let me say that slowly. I'm poor. I'm disabled. Therefore, my conjecture is going to avail over God. A tenth when he increased you. Everybody understand? So these demonic conjecture artists don't have a foot to stand on. I'm confused. Then go to hell confused. God is not the author of confusion. And they said, how can the people mentioned in this video be labeled priests when they have been called out in other Raptor News videos for leading Israelites into idol worship? What did I got to do with giving a tenth to the priest? JC, Yahushua, crucified worship and idol worship. And then Lex don't worship Jesus Christ. He Old Testament. I mean, these people are so off. You know. And called the highest wrongdoing. It's also been said that in other Raptor News videos that some of those mentioned in this video are not Hebrew. Dow is not Hebrew, but Sakari is Hebrew. Adam Abbott is Hebrew. You know, Lex Will is Hebrew. Dow ain't. But in this video, it is said that a priest must be a Hebrew. Raptor News says he's not found anyone. Raptor News says, what about what God said? Give a tenth and shut the fuck up. 2 Corinthians, I ain't gonna even entertain that shit no more. 2 Corinthians 11:22. Are they Hebrew? You can't divide us, Satan. So am I. I'm Hebrew. That's my brother. Are they Israelites? So am I. That's my brother. You ain't gonna divide us. I don't give a damn if my brother wicked. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Shut up. Hosea 14:4. I will heal their backsliding, says God. I gave them an everlasting covenant and everlasting salvation. You can't take nothing away. You can't take nothing away. I will love them freely, says God. For my anger is turned away from him. God gets angry at us and God is going to punish us. Lex Will. I said he lied on me and he's doing shit that he ain't supposed to be doing. He's sinning to some damn degree. You know. If he is hungry, we feed him. We feed him anyway. So let's see what God says. You know. Malachi 1:3. But Esau I have hated. Despite what he preaches, if he hungry, we feed him. Genesis 25:30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me. Feed me, I'm hungry. I pray thee. With that same red pottage, for I am faint. I'm weak. Therefore was his name called Edom. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. But then God said he hated Esau? But Jacob still fed him, didn't he? Deuteronomy 15:11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. It's always going to be somebody poor. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother. He didn't say, oh, unless he's preaching the false doctrine, Raptor News, then we don't deal with him. No, you shall open thy hand wide unto thy brother. Not, but if his mama white, then we don't deal. It's rules and regulations. You can't apply evil to everything and hate to everything and shut everybody out. It just don't work that way. You know. You shall open thy hand wide unto thy brother. Is he Hebrew? You know. He even said Esau is your brother. If he hungry, feed him. To thy poor and to thy needy in thy land. And here's the thing. To the poor and to the needy in your land. To the poor and to the needy in your land. Did he ask for something? Give it to him. Did he say they have to be righteous? That's the stipulation for all the self-righteous people. Deuteronomy 15:11. What we don't understand in this religion, I guess, is brotherly love, pity for the next man, mercy, you know, amnesty, freaking, you know, empathy. Deuteronomy 15:11. For the poor shall never cease. Zechariah 11:4. Thus says the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter. Even though they go into the slaughter, still feed them. Even though these people going to hell, still feed them. If he asking for a donation, give it to him. You know, you fucking savages. Oh, these people, like, he said it. And he was right. I do concur with what he said. He said these people is barbaric, man. And they are. Barbarism. Matthew 14:13. When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by a boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him. Who was the crowds? The multitudes of Gentiles on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them. He had compassion on them. He had compassion on them. And he healed their sick. And he even gave the woman something, right? He healed her daughter, right? We don't do nothing for them. As evening, which is night, approaches, the disciples came to him and said, this is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food. Jesus replied, they don't need to go away. You give them something to eat. You give them something to eat. We know that they Gentiles. We know that they sinners. We know that they got demons in them. We know they need to be healed. We know they sick. But he sat there and helped, right? And then God said, feed the flock of the slaughter, right? And Jacob fed Esau, right? And he said, open your hand wide to your brother and to the poor and to the needy in the land, right? In your land. We ain't in Israel. We ain't in Kansas no more, right? Leviticus 19:17. You must not harbor hatred against your brother in your heart. Unless it's Sakari, huh? Unless it's Lex Will, huh? Then we harbor, I don't deal with those Negroes. Come on, we gotta get out of that bullshit, man. I'm dealing with them. I'm admonishing them. I'm trying to do kindness. I'm trying to do mercy. I'm trying to do whatever it takes to please the Most High God. I ain't trying to please, man. You can't please, look, as you see, you can't please these people or beasts, whatever they are. You must not harbor hatred against your brother in your heart. Directly rebuke your neighbor so that you will not incur guilt on account of him. And so all you do is, if you see somebody doing something wrong, if Lex Will is so wrong in y'all eyesight, and Sakari is so wrong, and all the rest of them is so wrong in your eyesight, do what Raptor News is doing. If your leader goes and rebuke them, then how come you ain't? If your leader is having compassion, why don't you have compassion? Why don't you just ask the leader instead of sitting here trying to be the judge and the jury and saying, oh, I think he did something wrong. They're stupid as hell. And I've been doing this for 20 years. I read this every single day for hours. And it ain't no bullshit. Every single day. I pray all day long. I do. I always talk to God 24/7. You know, and you're going to tell me something. I ain't saying that I can't learn and I'm too arrogant to hear. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying the common, everyday, average motherfucker who don't know shit. You ain't going to tell me shit about the religion. You don't know. Like I said, God take care of the devil. You figure that out. You figure that out. Because the devil ain't sustaining himself. Nothing sustains themselves. God take care of the wicked and the good. God created the wicked before he created the good. And I'm talking about he created the Gentile, the demons before he created mankind. You figure that one out too. Galatians 6:1. Brothers, if someone is caught in a trespass, you who are spiritual should restore him with a spirit of gentleness. Why don't you just be kind to the nigga? Damn. You know? We don't always have to chop somebody's fucking head off, man. Damn animals. Cain's kids. A lot of people, they think they're Hebrew and you Cain's children. Don't you know you think like an animal? Zechariah 7:9. Thus speaks the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment and show mercy and compassion every man to his brother. That's true judgment. And then again, God said it. Execute true judgment. Mercy and compassion. That's true judgment. You know, not you came down with the sword. You know, that's Samurai Jack. Leviticus 25:17. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy God, for I am the Lord your God. And just like I said, and this is not oppress them purposely. Like you're just doing something just to get under somebody's skin and shit. No. Just admonishing people oppress them. Telling people to give a tenth of their tithes oppress them. Can't you see? Everything oppresses these motherfuckers up until hell oppresses their wicked asses. Zechariah 7:10. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, nor the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. So in your heart, you can't be mad at another Israelite. You can't be mad at another Hebrew just because you don't agree with his doctrine. If God gonna throw his wicked ass in hell, let God do that. Jeremiah 34:17. Therefore thus says the Lord, you have not hearkened unto me in proclaiming liberty, everyone to his brother. Let them be. But he did say save their soul. He did say admonish them. He did say tell them the truth. That way the guilt of them when they go to hell don't be on your hands. 2 Thessalonians 3:15. Yet do not regard him as an enemy, but warn him as a brother. Don't regard him as an enemy, but warn him as a brother. Romans 12:21. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. They all self-righteous hypocrites. Have you not sinned? Did somebody correct you? Did somebody lead you to the right path? Who are you to judge, man? I don't know what this shit is, man. Satan. You know, I'm going to say what I know it is. I'm going to say I don't know what it is. I know it's about money. That's all it's about. It ain't about me treating people kindness and showing mercy and following. It's about money. You shall not eat or do business unless you take the mark of the beast. That's all it's about. You know, why are you getting something and you didn't take the mark? Psalms 14:3. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. Not one. They all then did something wrong. Then who are we to judge the next man? There is no big I's and little U's. Oh, you committed adultery, but you a faggot. What you worried about them committing adultery for and you a homosexual? Well, y'all committing adultery and y'all a homosexual, but you a murderer. Well, you murdered, you committed homosexuality, and you committed adultery, but you a drug addict. Well, y'all doing all those things, but you a child molester. Well, they doing all those things, you know. And it's always some sin people think is better than other sin. Sin is sin, man. And sin will get your black ass sent to hell. Then, Deuteronomy 1:35. Surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see the good land which I swear to give unto your fathers. As long as y'all evil. What is evil? Disobeying God some type of way. You know, doing it the opposite of what God said to do is evil. Going backwards, man. Ecclesiastes 7:20. For there is not a just man upon the earth that doeth good and sinneth not. It don't mean that people can't be just. It's just pretty much saying that everybody is sin. Nobody's perfect. That's all it's saying. So don't be self-righteous. Psalm 53:3, because some people is extreme with it. Every one of them is gone backsliding. They are all together become filthy. Saying it again. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. So Psalm said it twice. Ecclesiastes 7:27. Behold, this I found, says the preacher, counting one by one. So I did the same thing before I even read this. I said, find me one. Find me somebody so I can look at them. Find me another righteous person so I can look at this righteous person and say, this is a righteous, God-fearing man. And as far as I can see, this man has done nothing wrong. Find me one. Then everybody need to shut the fuck up, because I don't think nobody can find me one. It's the reason why I'm saying those things. You know. This is what I found, says the preacher, says Raptor News, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh. I'm just looking for one. I really am my own self, just like this person did 3,000 and some years ago. But I find not one. One man among 1,000 have I found. But a woman among all of those I have not found. Though this only have I found, that God has made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. John 9:25, he answered and said, whether he be a sinner or not, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind and now I see, I wasn't correct my damn self. You know, I was astray. I was out there, but now I'm not. So who am I to talk about somebody else who was astray? 1 Corinthians 7:5, defraud ye not one another. Meaning what? Half of y'all fake, pretending like you ain't gay, pretending like you ain't carnal, pretending like you ain't did no sin, pretending like you holier than thou. Defrauding everybody else, praying like, oh, you just some faithful, God-fearing, commandment-keeping Hebrew. You a damn lie. You know, just like I said, you filthy. James 5:9, grudge not one against another, brethren, lest you be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. So, grudge not. Don't be sitting there holding grudges, having problems and stuff, having beef with people. You know, just like I said, out of fun, I go back and forth. This is entertaining to me. And in the process of going back and forth, I'm admonishing. Go look at the videos. I ain't just making fun, and you know, except for that one little puppet video I did of Lex Will. But other than that, you know, and that was just to get his goat. But other than that, man, I'm admonishing. That's all I do. And before I got his goat, I admonished him. You know, and that's what I do. And so you admonishing so that the guilt of them is not on your hands. If anybody is hungry, we feed them. You know, we give to the good and the evil. You know, we ain't trying to help the evil in his cause. We don't do that. So I'm not asking anybody to go over there and support Lex Will's ministry. I didn't say support them. I said he hungry, feed him. Pretty much that's what I'm saying. I said the man said he was doing bad. He said his family need to eat. He feel bad. He is my brother. I should feel bad because he is my brother. He don't have to be perfect. You ain't perfect and I ain't perfect. But it don't mean that I'm following him, nor did I tell you to follow him, nor did I say he was your priest and you owe him 10% of tithes. I didn't say all that bullshit that they saying, and that they just lying. They deceivers, they devils, they problem makers. I didn't say all that bullshit that they saying. I said if he is your priest, you give him 10%. That means you actually believe in what he say. He ain't my priest, he's yours. You know, if you don't believe what he say, stop going to him. Let's wrap the news.